Hi everybody, this is Lips from the band Anvil. You are listening to Handful of Metal. You know it.
What interests you creatively or musically for further records? You're still looking for the perfect song, or is there to get inspired by new ideas?
No, it's all about just continuing. That's all it's about. Come up with a new idea, new riff, new song. That's all it is.
Yeah. So
it's continuation, really. It's just like having another conversation with another person.
Yes, and like you have an idea, like a vision for the Anvil sound that you want to explore further, that you never get tired of, or is it always something new for every record?
No, it's not really never about new direction or anything like that. It's like I say, it's continuation. There is no real there's no real plan. It's about what am I doing today? Mm-hmm.
So
that's what it's about. And everything is really a log entry or part of a diary, really. When you write an album, it's like chapters it's a chapter in your diary, a piece of your life, a segment of time and place, just like it is for the listener. So you're asking me what's tomorrow going to be? It's going to be similar today to today, but it's going to be tomorrow.
Yeah. So
is there a plan for tomorrow? Yes, partially. I'm going to be alive.
Yeah.
And hopefully survive the whole day, right? Ultimately, that's what it is. So different things come up from day to day. So they do musically as well. It's never really the same. It's always different.
So how is your approach? Because a lot of the new metal stuff is like very structural, like technical death metal, the Meshuggah influence, and everybody's like studying music, or is it more like about songwriting?
No, I have my own identity and I play within it, and my own vocabulary, and that's what I use. I'm an individual, and I'm who and what I am, and that's what I do. What I really discovered is not to try to be like anybody else. Ultimately, you got to be true to your heart, yourself, is what it's really about.
And is it more like, do you see yourself more as a composer or a songwriter, or is there no difference for you?
No difference.
No difference. So it's riffs, it's lyrics.
I mean, I think using the term composer is a little bit ostentatious, a little bit.
I mean, sometimes the riff comes first, and for some people it's like all about the lyrics expressing some kind of story.
Well, yeah, it depends on, and that depends too. Sometimes it's a lyric, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just a title, and the title doesn't mean anything until you have some riffs. So what is it?
Or an image sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's like, I'm in the car with my wife and she comes up with, well, just ask the bitch in the box. And I go, what the fuck is that? She goes, that's a GPS. That's a great idea. I'm going to write a song called that. I didn't have a riff.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything. I didn't have lyrics.
Yeah.
But there's a great title. I'll use it. I come up with a riff sometime down the line, and I went,
this could be the bitch in the box riff.
That's the bitch in the box. And that's how that comes to be.
Yeah.
It's all by chance.
Basically.
Just like life.
Yeah,
I wake up in the morning, is it raining today? What are the chances? That's what it is.
You try to steer it in a certain direction and then it just happens. Another question. There's been a documentary. And in the documentary it was like hinted that though you have been one of the earliest like successful metal bands, history has some kind of like maybe overlooked Anvil in a way that it hasn't done with Slayer or Metallica, who had like huge, like more mainstream success. When you look back at the time when you started, how was it at the time? Like, how do you think? what was it that got you the chance to do it like regularly for a living, maybe?
We got fucked.
And
Anvil got fucked.
And that's the question. The next question is like, what do you think is the reason why it didn't play out like so well?
It's real simple. Greed.
It's an old story.
Pathetic greed. Not by the band, but by the business itself.
Yeah.
Just fucking disgusting fucking shit is ultimately the reasons for everything, and it always is. It'll be the reason that mankind ends.
Yes.
It's the same fucking crowd. You know what I mean? Ultimately, it's about money. It always is, and it's about money that people either don't want to spend or have to spend. One of the two. And if they don't, and everything is guided by that, not by the logic, not by what's right, not by what's wrong. It's what it is. In 1983, we were managed by one of the biggest management companies in the world. We had 3 records that were doing well in the marketplace, but not with the big push and the big fucking money. When the big management came along, they said, okay, they went to all the big major labels and they go, okay, yeah, we're interested. We want the first 3 records that this independent company paid a lot of money to get produced. We want it all for free. Well, we can't. You got to pay them something. Oh no, we're not going to pay anything for it. You want a future with this band? We want us to invest. We want to use those 3 records, make money from those 3 records to pay for the new record. They don't want to invest anything.
No.
They want to use somebody else's money to invest. Greed. So what happened? Ultimately, what happened was the major labels and everything at the time wouldn't sign Anvil. So he had no distribution or no way to be let out in the United States, which ultimately is how the big bands got big.
Yeah.
So the United States, the only way that they could know about Anvil was to buy the records on import without any record label support to even promote it. So even if the records are fucking the best records that you've ever heard in your life, no one knows they're there. So ultimately, this is where the bear crossed the river.
Is it also something like?
Shit happened.
Does it also have something to do with like Anvil being a Canadian band, because the story is a little bit similar to
yes,
Voivod, for example?
Because we were not in the American stream, okay? We were not. If we'd been in America, we would have been signed by an American label and grown and exploded from America. We came from outside America. So that meant that the first 3 albums had to be picked up by a label, properly released, and they were already 3 albums late, okay? They wanted it all for free. The original label would not sell it for free, would not give it away. So what did the management, which was David Krebs' management, same as Scorpions, Aerosmith, and Ted Nugent. He tried to get us a deal on the major labels. They didn't want it. They wouldn't sign us because they couldn't get the first 3 albums for free. So what does he do? He gets us pulled out of the record deal that we had in Canada. Now we're sitting without a record deal between 1983 and 1987. Guess what happens? The most important years in metal, and Anvil hasn't got a record deal. By the time we did get a record deal, it's too little, too late. Signed to an independent in America. It's like an ant pushing an elephant. It's just not going to move.
Okay.
You're just never going to get. You're never going to get the publicity. You're never going to pick up where you've lost the momentum. You're never going to pick up where you left off. And everybody's going to look at you like you were a has-been. Anybody who thought, they're already. Even though you were innovative and you started the whole fucking thing, by the time that everybody's hearing about you, you're already in old news. Oh, that's old stuff.
Yeah,
there was no way to make up for the 4 years we lost at that particular moment in time. And we didn't have we weren't signed to a major record contract or even be able to pick up the pieces that we might have lost over the 4 years. There's just no way to do it. So ultimately, which didn't matter to me because I'm I had self-belief and I did it my way and with my own personal guidance in the way that I wanted to do it. Never wanted to sell out. Wanted to do it my own way, and that's what I did. Stayed true to myself. You know, there were other things that contributed to the failure. None of it. I mean, obviously, in this four-year period, the original guitar player wanted to do what all the other assholes in the business wanted. Let's become like Bon Jovi and we'll sell out, which is the stupidest mentality you can possibly have. You use your originality and your uniqueness to make it. You don't become like somebody else to try to make it. That's not how you do it. You always do it because you're doing it on your terms and your way. So what's going to happen? What happens? He ended up quitting in the band. I had to start all over again with the forethought. I made enough of an indent and enough of an impression that somebody is going to grow up out of my young fans that I made between 1981 and 83 is going to grow up to be either a record executive or somebody in the business that's going to go later on, oh, Anvil, and son of a bitch, come 2005, along comes a screenwriter who was an old fan and makes a movie about Anvil. And here I'm sitting, after 40 years in the business, the most successful I've ever been. So there's a happy ending to a very long, tedious career. Do I have any regrets? No. I've done everything precisely the way I wanted to do. I never had to compromise one fucking thing. I've done it all on my own terms without ever having to become Bon Jovi to do it. Or dress a certain way or make my songs a certain way. I did it with the basic foundation of what we laid down in the first 3 or 4 years of my band. The people that were there in the early 80s are still here today. They're still devoted fans. They're dedicated to Anvil as much as I am dedicated to them. And that is actually the real winners. So what am I talking about specifically? Germany. Germany's been fans of Anvil since day one. They were the foundation of why we were able to continue through the worst years when everybody was going grunge and everybody's trying to go pop music. There was a metal foundation that existed in Europe and Germany that kept a band like Anvil alive through all of it. We've had record deals and a way to survive through thick and thin. And it's not just a win for Anvil, it's a win for the metal community that we belong to. And I pat the people on the back in Germany and throughout Europe who have been devoted fans for my band. We've done it. We have done it. Not I did it. We've done it. And I've stayed true to you, and you've stayed true to me. We've done it as a team, as a people, as almost like a family. The family stuck together, my family of fans, my family and my family as a band. Between Rob and I, the two brothers have kept that music and inspiration alive through all of it. And I thank everybody.
Okay. I have another question from my flatmate who is a die-hard 80s metal fan, and he wants to know how many vibrators do you ruin during a tour?
I don't actually. They generally last for years. You know, I buy the ones that are silver and have very speed, and ultimately all the silver gets worn off. Like I have a blue one that I keep one here and one in my guitar case for North America. It's just mostly I keep one here so I don't have to bring it on the airplane or have to explain it to them.
Yeah, true.
Explain as it's going through the X-ray why I've got a vibrator in my guitar case. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah, of course.
I keep them in 2 different places now. When I buy vibrators, I usually buy them in Hamburg. on this Reaper bomb, and they're about €15.
Ah, yeah.
And they're a specific vari-speed standard vibrator. Nothing fancy about it. It just has a vari-speed, and I usually buy them silver or gold ones. That's it.
Okay, so
Dinner's served next door.
Okay.